Hey everyone, great to have you here in the Nordic Talents events. So today we will have a quick or short or interesting or all of them together introduction of the Lightneer Studio. So Lightneer Studio is a hyper-casual game studio based in Helsinki. We love to create games. We call that snackable games, fun games. For anyone who doesn't know hyper-casual games, hyper-casual are mostly very concise core game loop games, and you see them on the stores conquering the charts. In Lightneer, we are about 18 Lightneers. Of course, we work with also external studios and external partners. And we already developed something like 100 games, including different prototypes that we shared with publishers. We do work with top charts publishers all around the world globally. And you can see here some of our games, which I will be speaking about in a second. On top of that, we already have this insane amount of downloads, 75 million plus downloads, and it's counting every day. As I mentioned, we work already on around 100 games. Out of those, we already have several interesting hits where we work with Supersonic and Voodoo. So you can see the game Good Slice and Bazooka Boy. I recommend you go play those because they are fun, and tell us how it was. How was your experience about it? Hammer Jump as well, and a lot of applause because we are probably gonna launch really soon globally the game Slice This 3D. So we expect that to be a hit as well. And that's like very quickly about us. Let me tell you a little bit about our development process. So how we actually start to develop our games. So everything starts with the ideations. Normally, it's the same for any type of game, not just hyper casual. Hyper casual is just game development on steroids, which means that we are normally developing a game from scratch to end in around 10 days. Then we pitch that game, we test that game to see the KPIs with the publisher, and if it works, if it matches our expectations, we continue. So to be more detailed, we normally invest 1 to 2 days in ideation. We collect concepts, we look on market insights, on market trends, we look on TikTok, on Facebook, and Instagram, and we collect all those insane moments from day to day, things that we used to do in our lives, cooking in the kitchen, going to work, doing all sorts of chores, all the happy moments and insane moments we see on social media, and we try to concise them, to focus them into one interesting gameplay. Then we start to prototype. Normally our teams are mostly game designer and artist, which is normally also an animator and a developer. We develop everything in Unity, so that goes without saying. Then we spend, yes, as I mentioned, 4 to 5 days of the first iteration. We develop the prototype, we test it, we prepare it for release, and that's also a parallel process where we speak with our publishers, we get feedback for everything we put in the game, whether it's the art, whether it's the functionality or the game mechanics, or how sticky it could be. And then we send it. We send it to the publisher. We start a campaign. We start to test it for CPI, and we normally try to achieve around 30 cents CPI, cost per install, of course, and day one retention of around 42%. Of course, it changes if you work on arcade idle games. It's a little bit lower. But then we also look on the total playtime, the session playtime. We aim to achieve, 600, 700 seconds. In some games, we try to achieve over 800, 900 seconds playtime or session length. And then we try to measure other KPIs. And if that works, if we see that we can reach those KPIs, we then iterate over and over again. until the publisher is giving us the okay that we can soft launch, and then we start again trying to improve the marketability of the game, starting to lower that CPI beyond 20 cents, and looking also over the day 7 retention, try to be around 12 or 16. So that's something that we are trying hard with, improving different parts of the game. So that's mostly our way of thinking. And as I mentioned, we are trying to be attached and updated with market trends. We use different platforms of machine learning and data science in order to try to even predict trends across industries, not just in the gaming industry, but also in the entertainment industry, in the sports industry, in the films, books, whatever comes out, and it's colorful enough for us to take as a game mechanic. That's something that we look into. We try to measure how sticky this will be. And also, if a game didn't succeed, didn't met that, we just throw it away, start another one. Normally, as I mentioned, 10 days per game. And we do retrospectives to try to understand what was not working for us in that game, trying to learn from our mistakes and move forward. And in order to do that, there's something which is highly important for us, which is also our values as part of our culture. And it may seem like it's an easy thing to maintain because it's such a very in many students it's a cliche, right? You have to be honest, you have to respect your fellow peers, you have to love to play games, but it's not easy to maintain and to hold actually beyond the slogan. So we are trying to do that. We're trying to be honest to one another, which we are trying to be transparent and actually use like a non-BS approach where I can tell you my feedback on the game, of course, with respecting your opinion and your work that you invested in the game. But also we want to learn from our mistakes and be better. But it doesn't mean that we are willing to grind or to use a lot of crunch time. We respect each other's well-being and time. And it's highly important for us to maintain those values. And of course, we all like to play games and we like to explore games, deconstruct them, try to understand which mechanic works, but also play together and also get excited by games that we are working on. Because eventually, it's our creation, it's our artist's creation, it's our game designer's creation. It's like creating mini toys, which is like also a good analogy for hyper casual games. It's a toy that you can play with, you can invest in, but eventually you're leaving that after a short while of time and moving to the next toy, which is interesting. So a lot of factors important here, but this is part of our culture. And to put it all in one sentence, normally it's yes, we are a company that actually cares, and it's not a cliche. We actually care for each other. If we are speaking about being transparent, so then like the board meetings and our financial and projections are exposed in our weekly meetings. We are trying to be transparent in that as well. We have a channel where we work in Slack. Everything is held up in Slack. So we try to give kudos to other team members. We have a specific channel for that. So it's important also to say thank you, really, like a decent thank you to one another about work that have been done or help that have been given, and try to be honest, give honest feedback, as I mentioned. Other things that are important to mention is that we have self-managing team. Teams have autonomy to decide on which game they publish, like they have the creative freedom to do as they feel like professionally in the game, of course, with the leads support and the data support. And also, especially in the times of COVID, where the human contact is so important, we are supporting a hybrid workplace where you can work remotely or you can work at the office by regulations, of course, but it's something that is very flexible for me as an employee. Additionally, well-being, I mentioned well-being. So specifically in Finland and in Lightneer, we have 6 weeks of holiday, which allows the employees to take some time off, get a breather, between games or between bunches of games, and of course, good healthcare workload, and no crunch time, no grinding when it's not needed. It's not a sprint of marathons, which we are working on many games, and speed is important, but also quality and the quality of the personnel, because that's the biggest asset you will have in a game studio. And of course, to sum this up specifically, we give huge emphasis on growth. It's important for us because the employees are our assets. We invest on their growth, so we have competence days, comp days, where I can say, hey, I'm Tsahi, I'm the lead design here, but I am interested in doing 3D, in learning 3D design. So we give that option to employees to do other activities that develop their competence as a whole and as an employee in the company, which also benefits the company in terms of motivation and performance. What did I mention? What didn't I mention? Yes, we have postmortem and retrospective to understand and actually learn from each other and from the mistakes that we made. And of course, many leisure activities where we take a day off and go to, you can see for the photos. So of course, saunas, yacht, spending some time playing board games together, or a dinner together. That also helps uniting the teams up. And yes, we do games and we love to play games, but it needs to have a healthy environment to do that, and that's highly important to do. I think the next slide is about who we are looking for, and for that actually Alisa can mention or expand later on, or if she wants now. But essentially we are looking for any role, like mostly good game developers, Unity mostly, game artists and marketing artists that have experience in hyper casual. But yes, I guess Alisa can extend about it here or even later on. And yes, I mean it's that was it, but it's not ended. Of course, we will be in the online online space during from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. live, so you can ask us anything you like about games, about Lightneer, about how we hire and what we are looking for, about our vision. It's a free-for-all session, and I think we have time. I left some time for questions, so if there's something in the Q&A, we can do that, right?
Yes. Are there going to be programming roles available in the near future?
Yes. So we are looking for good Unity developers always. I think this is something that is correct for any hyper casual game studio. But just shoot us your CV. We prefer to have developers with an experience on games, of course, and specifically in hyper casual or hybrid casual. That would be a big plus for us to understand this environment or ecosystem. So thanks, Kadir.
Yes, excellent presentation, and I'm just giving. Sorry. Do you consider marketing artists with experience only outside game industry?
Do you consider marketing artists
with experience probably only within the games industry?
Yeah, so maybe Alisa can respond on that. I'll just briefly say that for me, of course, I'm not the direct person that hiring stuff, but as someone that did in the past, I mean, it's always a big plus if you are coming from the gaming industry and have worked on some successful games and understand the delicacies in creating a game, because it's a little bit different from working on a movie or working on other types of entertainment. Of course, there are very similar lines, but we always prefer guys or girls from professionals from the gaming industry.
Thank you, Tsahi. Thank you, Alisa.